But we'll start here with Max Klare, the tight end that I know you're a pretty big fan of after digging into him and his background athletically. Was a big time baseball prospect. He was a center fielder, was a quarterback until junior year of high school. Basically said, fine, I'll play tight end, when there was a couple other guys who were big time quarterback talents as well. So Notre Dame seems like they're an early favorite. He's going to be visiting Louisville as well coming up this week. But there's some ties there with Notre Dame. He was actually committed to Duke coming out of high school when Riley Leonard was the freshman starting quarterback. So they knew each other. He was committed. That they thought he was going to be the guy there. Notre Dame, obviously, Riley Leonard there now. He is going to be gone, so there's nothing he can do about that. He's going to miss him by a year again. But part of his reasoning for staying home or for choosing Purdue was over Duke and flipping was he wanted to stay home. Notre Dame, obviously, close to home for him, and a guy who has big time athletic ability.
Yeah, tight end's a position where when you look at the guys that make it in the NFL, a lot of them were not just these 5-star tight ends coming out of high school. They played other positions. Quarterback often is one of them. Wide receiver, sometimes even running back. They play other sports. Usually it's basketball, but here we have a baseball background, center fielder background for Max Klare. So that's a position, if you're in the portal trying to land big-time players that are on the rise, and you're a program like Notre Dame that has a tradition to sell, you look for guys like this that are ascendant so you can catch them on the way up and get them on their way to the NFL. I think back to a guy like Stowers from Vanderbilt, Eli Stowers. He was a quarterback at the college level over in New Mexico State, comes to Vanderbilt, plays tight end, going to be an NFL tight end. So Klare, he was already a big-time school in terms of a Big Ten program with Purdue, but I think there's more to him as you plug him into a program that's at a higher level right now in Notre Dame, more around him, just more ready-made to succeed, to bring out his talent. They produced a lot of NFL tight ends going back to Kyle Rudolph, Tyler Eifert, guys like that. So no shortage of tight end tradition. Michael Mayer with the the Las Vegas Raiders. So no shortage of tradition for Notre Dame at the tight end position. I think this guy makes a lot of sense, but he's also visiting Louisville. So let's not discount the Louisville Cardinals. They're bringing him in with Miller Moss, the USC quarterback. So those guys are going to be together. I'm sure they will sell them on being together. Jeff Brom, former Purdue coach, will be recruiting Max Klare along with Miller Moss, selling them as a tandem, as a 1-2 punch. Jeff Brom, one of the best play callers in America. So he will have his first shot at Max Klare. So I know we're talking about Notre Dame being the favorite, but don't sleep on Louisville. When you're on campus, you got a chance. They got a beautiful campus, beautiful city, interesting fit. We'll watch this battle because this is a guy I think we'll be talking about in the NFL in a couple years.
And then another guy who, unfortunately for the Purdue fan base, is leaving, Will Heldt, defensive end, edge rusher, going to be visiting LSU A&M now. We've seen that A&M logo pop up a couple times here now. Seems like they're being aggressive early here in the portal. And he's a guy who had 56 tackles the last couple years, or this season, 5 sacks, 10 tackles for loss. Was a 3-star recruit out of high school, has put on about 25, 30 pounds of weight, and looks like a guy who still has room to grow in terms of a football sense.
Yeah, Purdue, they always talk about being the cradle of quarterbacks. Bob Greasy, Drew Brees, guys like that. I think Purdue really is about the pass rushers. When you look at recent history, talk about Ryan Kerrigan, Carl Loftus, Cliff Averill, Sean Phillips. They've had a lot of guys who have been able to get in the NFL. Rob Ninkovich is another one. They've had a lot of guys who have been able to get in the NFL and get to the quarterback. I think this is the latest example. He's an Indiana guy, Carmel, Indiana. So LSU, Texas A&M, foreign territory. He's not a Southern kid. But, of course, you look at Texas A&M, talk about Purdue pass rushers. They have some experience. Nick Scourton going on to the NFL, transferred from Purdue to Texas A&M, now will be a first-round pick. I am sure that's going to be the pitch from Texas A&M to Will Heldt, that they'll follow the same transition. Come down here, play against the best, move on to the first round of the NFL draft. And LSU, team is looking to build up their defense in every single position, could definitely use a pass rusher like this. You see the length, you see the talent. Interesting fits there. I think Texas A&M when you consider what they've done with a similar player who I'm sure Will knows, that makes a little more sense as a pitch.